What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So, welcome to another week of cybersecurity news. Please check us out on 9.1 FM in the Atlanta metro area. That's WDJY 99.1 FM in Atlanta Metro, Channel 10, DC Fairfax Public Access, as well as your podcast platform of choice. So definitely lock in and check us out there. We're also simulcast on the TuneIn app. So if you want to check us out on the radio, it's Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern on both WDJY 99.1 FM as well as the TuneIn app. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article comes from techrepublic.com written by Megan Krause. And the title of this one is What Does the Government Shutdown Mean for Cybersecurity? And what they're talking about here mostly is CISA, right? So yes, the government shutdown is affecting people, to include myself, right? So my last day of work was a couple days ago until they can figure it out and get a budget passed, or a CR at least, right? CISA is among the government agencies affected, and we know the type of work that they put in, right? Like we talk about it all the time. And it's a reminder that we need to harden our cybersecurity, right? Because the fact that you have so many people now that are not working, and I know like for the civil service community as well in the federal government, a good bit of them, a fair amount of them are also off, right? Furloughed, I guess you would say. So it's the federal government shutting down like this, right, and not passing funding for the fiscal year. It leaves the federal government open to more cybersecurity attacks, right? So government contractors, like I know with a lot of, I'm not gonna say a lot of, but there are instances in the federal government where they rely on smaller businesses, right? Like they try to give some of these smaller companies that aren't as large, and you have your large contractor companies that have their hand in it, but some of these smaller companies that they kind of give the keys to the kingdom to, right? So the company I work for isn't necessarily huge, you know what I mean? But for us, like we have the keys to the kingdom when it comes to what we need to do, right? And so what can happen is that when you have a government shutdown like this and you have an extended period of time where people may be out of work, right? It leaves them open for such things like phishing, right? So you may have some people that they can't afford to be out of work for an extended amount of time, right? So what ends up happening is they start seeking employee benefits and things of that nature. So it's easy to make them targets for phishing and things of that nature, right? So the exploitation risks just go up so much more because of that, right? Credentials being targeted when people aren't there to audit, things of that nature. Something could be going on, right now, and nobody is there to look at it, right? So this government shutdown, we'll see how long it takes, right? Like for me, like I can use a little bit of a vacation, right? Like I'm okay, I'll be all right, but yeah, I can use a couple weeks or so. But for most people, that may not be the case, right? So just gotta government cybersecurity work. It needs to continue. It needs to get back on its feet, right? Because this is the reason we have a show every week, people. We're here to tell you, hey, there's things out there, and the fact that the shutdown can impact businesses, impact people, business travelers, even, right? Like people that are flying are also affected, right? So you can have long waits at airports, things of that nature. It's wild, man. And for the military, I feel bad for the military, right? Because they have to show up to work anyway, right? And not be paid. Who knows how they're feeling about certain things that are going on. But yeah, CISA took a big hit here because they said, what was it, 900? I'm trying to remember what it said here. What was the number? I can find it in here about the amount of people that are furloughed or whatever it was. I think it said like 900 people furloughed out of the organization, which is a lot. Yeah, folks, be
Yeah,
careful
because
out
it's
there.
not the largest organization, so 900
No,
is
it's a lot.
yeah,
It was 900 out of 2,400 or something like that, or
right.
yeah, was the number. Can't find it in the article right now, but I know that's what I read. It was something that I saw, and I was like, oh, that's jarring. You know what I mean? Especially for the services that they provide, right? Because over the last few weeks, we talked about that as well, right? With them providing different tools for people, not just in the federal government, but even for civilian businesses that are out there. That they throw their services out there for them as well, right? So they could be affected as well. So the fact that the government is down, man, just leaves more opportunity for more things to happen that you just don't want when it comes to cybersecurity, right? Your ransomware gangs are probably licking their chops, right? Doing the Birdman, right? They're out here rubbing their hands, like, hey, let's get in on this. But Ryan, what's your thoughts about this?
Absolutely. So when you said small vendors. It reminded me of Black Dynamite when he's telling them what they won't do in the community anymore. He said, "But Black Dynamite, yeah." So I'm a small vendor, right? So I'm pending 8A as well as service disabled veteran owned small business certification. Hopefully that'll be well. I don't know because of the shutdown. They might not even be looking at that right now, right? I don't know if SAM.gov is affected by this as well, or the SBA. So for all I know, I won't get my certification until this is all said and done. However, so what my worry is as I don't think that's a correct sentence. Are the impacts to people who are furloughed who may start getting messages, right? So if I'm a bad guy, I know that this happens quite frequently, right? Like there's always, at last minute continued resolution or something like that. Or as we have seen in our careers, right? The government's been shut down several times. Like this is the first time in the last 7 years, I want to say. However, if I'm the bad guy, like a nation state actor, I prep for this, right? We do drills. We're preparing for this to happen so I can start my phishing campaign, right? Because people are gonna be checking their email. They're gonna be looking for rumors and rumors and things of that nature to see like, oh, when are we coming back? What are they thinking? Like what is the budget gonna be? And meanwhile, they're pushing out malicious links and SMS messages and targeting these people because it if you're involved in the DIB or whatever it's called now, right? Because it's Department of War, is the Department of Defense. You are a potential target for phishing emails and things of that nature. So I would say definitely look at all your links, definitely scrutinize all your emails, cut on MFA whenever possible. And the same thing is extended to anybody else who's working in this environment, right? Like it I don't have any contracts right now. Like I'm looking for some. So hey, if you need a sub, you looking for an 8A service disabled veteran owned small business, Ram Cyber's got you, right? Go to www.ramcyber.io and check us out. But I say all to say that everyone's a target in this environment, and the longer it lasts, the more vicious this campaign can become. So I'll be interested to see what the fallout is once all the dust settles. 'Cause, I don't remember seeing any metrics beforehand, but we know that's what happens during disruptions, shutdowns, things of that nature. The bad guys start to get pretty aggressive. So if I was a nation state, I would prep for this and I would start rolling out a campaign.
And the other far-reaching effects of this is that the people that can't afford to be without work for long, like they could be job hunting. You know what I mean? Like they could be out there looking, and then you don't have that personnel that had that experience, that had those
Right.
accesses come back. You know what I mean? When you do finally decide, hey, we're funded, come on back, we're gonna go back to business as usual. Well, they were like, well, I put my 2 weeks in 3 weeks ago. Right? Maybe you guys
Right.
didn't see it in your email because you weren't at work, but I no longer
Yeah.
work for you.
Yeah, brain drain is definitely a serious problem. So yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like yeah, they could bounce, and now they're more expensive, right? Like because you have to turn around and either look for people that costs money, right, to recruit and train, or you have to go to ramcyber.io to get those services you need. But it's like they say, it's much cheaper to keep her. So that could be a problem, to be
See,
honest with you.
now you saying that, it reminds me of A Living Color. It's cheaper to keep her. But yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
and that's a real thing, man. Like I know with a lot of people that I work with, a lot of us are veterans, right? So we're collecting a retirement, collecting disability, so there's an alternate source of income, but not everybody is that. You know what I mean? You have other people that have never been veterans, don't have anything else to fall back on. Like I know one guy, he's not a veteran, and his wife is civil service, so she's not working either, right? So neither one of them has money
right.
coming. So like this is the types of things that can happen from that. You know what I mean? And it's just, yeah, it's crazy. It's wild world out there.
Yeah. So hopefully by the time that you hear this on the radio, they figure it out. So people will be back at work doing their thing. It won't be a long protracted shutdown. So we will see. But I give it to you, Shannon, for the the next topic.
All right, everybody. This one comes from thehackernews.com, written by Ravi Lakshmanan. And the title of this one is Comet Jacking. One click can turn Perplexity's Comet AI browser into a data thief. All right. So cybersecurity researchers found details of a new attack called Comet Jacking, right? And it targets Perplexity's agentic AI browser Comet, right? And so what it does is it embeds malicious prompts with a link in it, right? With an innocuous link. And this is where we get a lot of people, right? That click on these links just to click on them without paying attention, without hovering over them or whatever it may be, right? And so because Perplexity's browser is connected into so many things, they don't have to get the passwords and everything separately, right? Like if they hack that browser has access to your calendar, to your email, to all these things, right? Which is what we like to do. We like to tie in everything to make it easy for us, right? And because you're doing it with the browser, this prompt injection attack makes it to where you just click the link and it's got what it needs, right? You don't have to, it's not a keystroke logger or anything like that. It doesn't need to do that, right? So it's one single weaponized URL that gets access to everything, right? So what they say is it flips an AI browser from a trusted co-pilot to an insider threat. I'm like, yeah, that's a very apt description of what it is doing here, right? So, and honestly, I think we're going to see more of this, right? Because we do more of the tie-ins and things of that nature. You're going to see more of, okay, I don't want to have to go and try to figure out how to get somebody to give me their password, their username, or whatever it may be, which may already be out there anyway, right? With as many breaches as we've had out here over the last several years now, right? COVID was a boom for these ransomware gangs and cyber criminals, right? The fact that we have everything tied in and it's going to get your email contacts, your calendar to show dates where you may be somewhere, right? Things of that nature, right? So yeah, this to target the attack to go after this Perplexity AI browser that has access to everything. That is the smart way going forward. I hate to give credit for this, right? But that's the smart way going forward. So it's like you try to get the most bang for your buck without doing all that extra work, right? That's why AI is so looked forward to right now, right? You ain't got to do as much work as you used to do, right? AI is going to do a lot of it for you, right? But this is a dangerous one out there, folks. So like, be careful what you're clicking on, right, and what you're doing, right? Because again, with us tying everything together like this, it's making it so much easier for the criminals out there to get what they need, right? And it's only because we're not paying attention. Like we want the convenience, and we're not paying attention, right, to the security aspect of everything that's out there. And we got to do better at doing that. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is the fear that we talked about, I think, a couple weeks ago, to be honest with you, with AI becoming an insider threat, right? At scale. So in this case, it's impacting individuals, which it's still terrible. And like you said, it's flipping, your trusted agent into the insider threat. It's only going to get worse. Like because you said everything's so integrated, right? We're trusting these things with so much information. It does make me nervous. Like you have companies getting rid of entire departments to replace it with quote unquote AI of some sort. And we know in some instances it's hype. They just want to cut headcount. But in others, right, and in the future, they really do want to thin the herd and put in these agents to do more complex tasks in more efficient ways, and you don't have to pay them benefits. So it's just cheaper all around. So I think that at a micro level, right, this is showing the dangers that kind of lurk, right? And in this case, it's just a browser, but just think about if you like a true agentic agent is supposed to be able to buy and sell and trade and kind of just go on its own merry way because it's been trained to perform multiple tasks and to communicate with other agents to get the job done. And I could just think of this spreading through an enterprise and causing havoc, right? So it's very dangerous. I don't know how, like, 'cause I could be like we always say, old fuddy duddy, right? I only use the Chromes and the surfaces of the world, right? I don't use Perplexity or there's a ton of other browsers out there, right? So I've never been exposed to this browser, so I'm not exactly sure how much different it is to, let's say, you have your Microsoft Edge with Copilot, right? Can this be something that can be duplicated in a more standard environment, so to speak, right? As because it's kind of, in my opinion, this is somewhat obscure because I don't know how much of a presence Perplexity has in the wild. It could be very popular for all I know. But in the environments that we typically work in, you really only use, Internet Explorer because I hate calling it its new name, or you use Chrome. Can this be adopted if you have plugins such as Copilot and things of that nature? It's unknown, but I think this is something that should definitely be researched and brought to the forefront to say, hey, you have to be careful. Especially like with OpenAI gives me links all the time. I don't click any of them. And I pay it, right? It should be the most trusted of agents, right? I pay for it. And I'm like, I'm not clicking that because who knows? Either it could have found a bad domain, or there could have been an injection attack where it's producing a bad link. So I'm like, thank you for the data, and then I'll go myself and check it out. It just takes a few more keystrokes to type in a URL as opposed to clicking that link. So yeah, just don't click links, people. Like we talk about this every year. Like, do not click the link. Don't trust it. Just go to the source.
Thing is, even like let's say you do get caught by this injection attack, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well the fix comes out. Here's what you need to do, blah blah blah. But the information's already out there, right? Like once that information has already been tapped into, they're probably pulling it and compiling it somewhere, right? So they still have your email, which you're more than likely not going to change anyway, right? And people have multiple emails, right? Like I have multiple emails and whatnot. I got my junk email used for other stuff, right? But more than likely, people are not going to change their email, but they still have it, right? So it leaves you open in the future, even though this is the easy way for them to get in. It leaves you open for in the future for the phishing, right? And the things of that nature. To do the other, let's call them the old school attacks after reading this, right? Like that's what it kind of leaves you open for, because the second and third order effects is what we always talk about, right? Like just because the immediate threat has already been remedied doesn't mean it doesn't hasn't left anything open for something to happen in the future, you know? So
Yeah, I
it's
like
crazy.
they call it scam Lexity. Right.
Complexity.
That's pretty funny. Attack dubbed scam Lexity. So, but I give it to you for our discussion.
All right, everybody. So this one comes from CNN.com by Helen Regan. Excuse me. I was going to say Helen Regan. Scam kingpins who ran billion-dollar criminal empire sentenced to death in China, right? China does not play, right? So a court in China has sentenced 11 people to death for their roles in a billion-dollar family-run criminal empire built on online scam and gambling operations in a remote border region of Myanmar, and for the deaths of workers who tried to escape. Now, I see this and I see the cyber aspect of this, right? Like what they're talking about. But the death thing might have had something to do with it too, where China was like, all right, we ain't playing this, right? And they probably don't mind getting rid of one or two people, right? With them being, as been told for years, they've been undercounted, right? So like people keep saying, oh, it's like 1.7 billion or whatever. Like, nah, we're pretty sure it's over two. There's regions out there they ain't even counting. But anyway, back to the story at hand. It was 11 members, and associates of the Ming crime family, and they got sentenced to death on Monday, right? So this was like a week ago by the Wenzhou Intermediate People's Court in eastern China's Zhejiang province, right? So this is one of the so-called this Ming family is one of the so-called four families of northern Myanmar, right? Which is like mafia-like syndicates, right? Like it's like in New York City, right? You had I think it was the five crime families in New York City back when the mafia was real big, the Gambinos and the whatever I don't know, whatever their names were, right? But same type of thing going here, right? But they run hundreds of compounds, but these folks, and this was funny. I thought this was a joke when I read it because I was like, no, that's not what they're really calling it, right? But they'd long been tied to an infamous compound called Crouching Tiger Villa in Cocaine. And I
Yeah.
was like, no. I was like, come on, is this a real thing? Like I was sure the movie was just making up the name, right, to make it sound cool, but I guess that's a real thing in China, right? They talk about this group, and at their peak, they said they had 10,000 people working to conduct scams and other crimes for them. Is what the Chinese station reported. Right? That's a big syndicate, right? So, but this is a multi-billion-dollar scam industry that they were in on, and they've been sentenced to death now for it, right? 11 people. Yeah, that traffic workers, they were using traffic workers, defrauding strangers with online schemes, making cash and illicit activities. We've talked about this in the past on the show, folks. Crime does pay, but if you live in China, it ain't gonna go well for you if they catch you, messing around with these scams and whatnot, right? So I don't know if it's one of those things where maybe things went sideways. They might have been working for the government, and then maybe they didn't like the cut they were getting at the time or something, and they were like, all right, we got something for you or what? I'm guessing at this, right? This is China. Who knows what's really going on over there, right? They got what do they call it? The Great
The Great
Firewall. Great
Firewall.
Firewall is what it is. Yeah, the Great Firewall of China. So who knows, right? They only really let out what they want to have let out. This crime syndicate, man, they're coming after them, right? And this may be a message to the other three, right? If this is one of the four crime families, the other three may be out there like, okay, well maybe we need to change up how we're doing things here, right? But what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, the reason it caught my attention, obviously the headline that they sentence these people to death, but when I start reading the numbers, just how like it's crazy. Like, so they're saying that in Southeast Asia, $43 billion are lost to scams with a B, $43 billion, and that 53,000 Chinese suspects were trafficked, is what they believe. So 50, like at scale. They're saying 53,000 people were in these compounds doing scams and fraud by force, right? Like some like it's it's kind of like what we talk about, like not feeding stray cats when you're receiving phishing emails and phone calls and things of that nature. Because some of these people are being trafficked, right? Like this is they took their passport. They're like, you're going to sit in this call center. You're going to do these scams. So they're victims as well, right? And if we keep paying into this system, like they're gonna just keep trafficking people. But I've never heard of this type of scale. Like again, I know China's huge, right? So like everything is gonna be bigger, right? It's like Texas, right? Everything's bigger in Texas. So I know the numbers will always be larger when you talk about India or China, in comparison to the states. But it's just crazy to me that they force 53,000 people to commit, these type of crimes. And, China is much harsher. Like, I'm not pro capital punishment, but they're pro making a statement for real. So I think the international community of criminals should be weary, right? Like, what if you're extradited to China for your crimes, right? And then they were like, yep, that's it for you. So just like everybody's not like internationally, everybody's not as kind as the U.S. and Canada and the European nations, things of that nature. Some places in the world, they're like, nah, we're not down for this. Like, you know how much money you cost our region, not necessarily just the globe, right? So that's the end of you. But it also goes to show that the world is becoming more technological, right? Like back in the day, these families would have probably been running drugs like opium and things of that nature. And who say they still don't? But in this case, now it's casinos, it's call centers, it's much more technology leaning scams to, build their illicit empires. So the world benefits from you clicking those links. So stop feeding stray cats.
And here's the thing, like you could do it with less people. When it comes to using technology, you can have less people and you get as much, if not more profit, right? You saw how many people it took to run the Carter. Nino had how many people in that apartment building, right? So I can only imagine, right, if you was to start doing stuff for China, right, on a mass scale, to start getting that stuff out there, it'd be so many more people that you don't have to
Care and
have
feed
working
for
for
it.
your syndicate. Yeah, turn people. There you
Yeah,
go.
they care, feed, and clothe these people. So
Yeah.
they just think about the type of money that costs. So then they. It's weird to think of criminal overhead, right? You're like, okay, well, you have to care, feed. There's electricity, there's AC, maybe, and things of that nature. So we need to scam harder to hit our margins, right? Like it's all business. It's crazy.
And again, like I don't know, like yes, to see them going after the crime is a good thing, but I'm curious, right? Like what prompted them to go after them like this? And again, the deaths of the people, that's not a good thing, right? But or maybe it drew unneeded attention. Like maybe they were doing something that um these multinational stings that are happening more often. Like maybe it drew more attention to China that they didn't want. They're like, hey, we over here doing other stuff. Our floor, our building of 1,000 people that we have that are APT. You guys are drawing attention to it that we don't want. You know what I mean? Y'all got to go. We got to make an example out of y'all. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
it is a very harsh stance because it was five of the defendants were given suspended death sentences for 2 years. I don't even know what that means. Does that mean that we just won't kill you for 2 more years?
I I have no clue what that is, right? Like, so, like, are the other ones immediate though? Like, are the other ones like, okay, next week, that's it? Like,
Or
there is no
you
death row.
walk out the room
Yeah,
and go right into a firing squad.
go right out to the courtyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then another 12 were given prison sentences. So it wasn't just those who were sent to death. There was a laundry list of people who received other penalties and things of that nature. So crime pays. It also kills. All right. So you really gotta like not to be flippant about these people's lives, but like you gotta really be. Is it worth it? Right? Like I just don't think so. And I think there will be a chilling effect because of this. At least in that region. Like, oh wait a minute, maybe we should pivot back into illicit drugs or something like this. Time get you murdered, right?
And honestly, who knows how long this has been the case, right? Like, because again, because of the Great Firewall, right? Who's to say they haven't been doing this for years and it's just now getting out? Like China wanted it out now to set an example, right? Maybe, right? You don't know. You don't know for sure. Because they back there, like I said, keeping all that stuff inside, right? Them, Russia, North Korea, right? They only letting out what they really want let out. Every once in a
Right.
while, a tidbit gets out, and you're like, oh, that's weird, right? Or Dennis Rodman will go over there. You know what I mean? Something like that is how you know.
He hasn't been over there in a while.
he hasn't. I don't know if it's because his basketball game ain't what it used to be or what, but yeah, he ain't been in North Korea in a minute.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been a while. He's
but
also a little bit softer
yeah,
nowadays, right? Like he's hanging out with his daughter and what have you. Not Kim. I'm talking about Rodman.
you're talking about Rodman. I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah. You talking about yeah. He out there hanging out with Trinity. You know what I mean? So I think her name's
right.
Trinity Rodman. But yeah, no, I mean, and even then when he came back, he was like, "Oh, it's great. I love Kim Jong." I'm like, "Oh, all right, man."
But he's seeing the fake city and whatnot, right? Like he's not
Yeah,
getting the real
yeah.
North Korea. He's like, man, it's nice here. Y'all tripping.
Yeah, if you read reports, like I know we're getting a little off subject, but if you read reports, like they have set up like fake cities and whatnot that they'll let people come to be like, hey, this is what it's really like. But you got people out there, the real communities out there eating rock soup. You know what I mean? Because they got a drought and a famine at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's again, they only let out what they want to let out, right? But you have the people that defect that are like they're defecting to South Korea and they're telling them what's really what. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how it
Wild.
is.
But so quick break to say, hey, go buy the guide. So the guide is, I should have led with this, but the guide is on sale, 40% off. So head over to theothersideofthefirewall.com, where you can go pick up the guide directly from me. You can also buy it from other retailers and what have you, but it's not on sale there. All right, it's on sale on my site, 40% off. So you can pick up the guide now for $15 plus shipping. Definitely pick it up. Again, it's me interviewing 26 people and also included my stories, right? 27, 10 chapters, the categories being broken down to people of color, women, career switchers, neurodivergent professionals, and veterans. So definitely pick it up. I'm telling you, great stories in there. You'll gain a lot of great knowledge about cybersecurity as well as what it took for these amazing guests to break in themselves and flourish within it. So go to theothersideofthefirewall.com to pick up the guide. It's on sale all October because it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So there you go. My gift to the world. And then, of course, hit up ramcyber.io if you're looking for services. Again, I'm looking for, I'm looking to prime and be sub to other companies. We're trying to grow. So if you are someone who's looking for our specific cybersecurity services, like you want a CMMC level 1 or level 2 readiness or NIST CSF or CIS or any type of assessment, or you need help with your network architecture, we also do that as well. So we have a laundry list of services to include pen testing and things of that nature. Hit us up, ramcyber.io, for your vCISO or your audit or assessment needs. So without further ado, Shannon, how was your week?
Okay, so I mean, the government shutdown was, it wasn't the best, but we actually finished out the week, and so until everything comes back, we're good to go. Now, it was a little, it was a little trying this past week because the civil service folks were gone on Wednesday. Like as soon as the fiscal year hit, they were gone, and we rely on them to do a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff. Like me as a contractor, like I cannot sign for certain things or do certain things. It needs to be a government representative, and in the squadrons for the squadrons that we work for, a lot of them, are not available at the moment. Like even though the military is still at work, they still have other things that they're doing that they're just working without getting paid, and they may not be right then and there. But other signatories that were civil service, it kind of delays some stuff, kind of like what we alluded to with the government shutdown in the first article we talked about. But so I mean, we got it done, but now it's vacation time, right? It's a little bit more time for me, go annoy my daughter at school or something. To have lunch with her, be like, hey baby, to make it. I gotta bring some McDonald's or something to make sure she's not she's not like, why are you here, Dad? You know what I mean? She's young, but she's getting to that age where she's like, well,
Right.
I'm like, all right. Getting a little old for me, baby. I remember when you used to love to see me all the time. No, I think my children love me. So yeah, work was a little trying, but we got through it. What did I watch? Oh, I watched Earthquake, the comedian. I watched his latest comedy special.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was good. I like it. Like he's been doing it for years. Like I remember Earthquake from like back in the BET days, man. Like on Comic View and whatnot. Like,
Yeah, I remember Comet Views. Yeah. He's smaller now, right?
smaller? What do you mean?
Yeah. Was he bigger back in the day?
No, I think you might be thinking of Bruce or Lavelle
Oh
Crawford.
yeah,
No,
I am. Yep.
Lavelle Crawford is
Yeah.
who you're thinking about. Yeah, he's lost a little bit of weight. Because I saw him, he was in Happy Gilmore 2. Is who he said he was Chubbs' son
Oh really?
in Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah,
Okay.
that's I
I
think
haven't
that's
checked it
the
out
one you
yet.
I think that's the one you're thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out yet. Was that any good? Is that not to detract you too much?
I mean, if you liked Happy Gilmore, I think you'll appreciate this. It was a lot of callback, right? Like Happy Gilmore was 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever it may have been, right? Probably 30 years ago, actually, now I'm thinking about it. But there's a lot of callbacks to older people. And it's Adam Sandler comedy, right? So like if you know Adam Sandler's comedy and you're down for that, you'll appreciate it, right? You'll be like, oh, that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a good movie. I laughed at it when I watched it. But yeah, Earthquake, watched that. Then with my wife, we watched the first episode of Abbott Elementary. Still funny. Season 5. It's 5 seasons in now. Still a funny show. So we still like that. We get a kick out of it. Playing Madden some more. Had another update, I guess, because it's getting worse and worse. I feel like a broken record
falling
saying this,
apart.
but I'm just like, what is going on right
They
now?
they just got purchased $55 billion for EA. So let's see if that money goes to good use.
And here's the thing. I don't think it's going to change anything. I don't think it's going to
Business
change
as
anything
usual.
because they have the exclusive rights to the game. Like them being bought, I don't think they're going to get any internal pressure to be like, hey, put a better product out because it still makes money, being the only one that has it. As a matter of fact, it only probably allows it to extend them to have that exclusive contract, right? Because the people that bought it was a Saudi, what is it, investment fund, right, or something
Yeah,
like
so
that.
it's the Saudi PIF as well as like Jared Kushner and a bunch of other I don't even know what to call them, like
Some other
venture
ownership group.
capitalists.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it'll. If anything, it'll prompt them to spend more money, and the NFL will jump at it to be like, because the owners are in it for the money, right? So for them, if EA's like, we're gonna pay you this much to have exclusive rights, they're like, oh, let me do the math here. Yeah, that works, right? Because here's the thing. Even though it's a billionaire boys club in the NFL, I mean, some of them really don't need the money, right? Like for Denver here in Colorado, it's the Walton family that owns that one, right? They ain't hurting for money. So for them, people are still going to Walmart. They're still buying stuff from them, right? So they're still worth, I think the one that's the I don't want to say head owner of the trust because I think it was like a trust that bought it. Like he's worth like $130 billion, right? This Walton, right?
billion.
Yeah, billions would there be? I think the one that's worth the least is still worth like $40 billion, right? So they're not hurting for it, right? But you got
They make fun of
some,
them at the family reunion.
yeah.
They're like, ah, look at you
Why do
junior billionaire.
yeah? Why do you only have 3 yachts? You know what I mean? It's like y'all are based out of Arkansas. Where are you putting it at anyway? Right on the Mississippi?
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, it's crazy, man. But there are some right that are worth, and I say only like $6 billion, $7 billion, $8 billion, right? So for them, if you're gonna put another tens of millions in their pocket, they're like, cool, I'll take it. So I don't think it's gonna prompt any real change that should be made. Which the NFL, what they should do, like if they were smart about it, to me, it would seem like they'd let multiple companies have a stab at it, right? Let them all pay you to have rights to it and then see
Right.
which is better for the competition. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that EA is just going to throw a lot of money at them to keep it going, like keep this money train going, this gravy train going, and make it go that way. But that's just me. I don't know. It's just we'll we'll see. What else did we watch? I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, the series Doc. The wife and I watched that. It's still okay, right? But whenever she finds the time to be with me, like I'll stop whatever I'm doing. I'm like, all right, let's watch something that we both watch together, right?
Right.
Enjoy the
Right.
time. She probably gonna get sick of me if this furlough goes if this government shutdown ends up going a little bit long. She might be like, man, you got to find something to do. I ain't used to
Right.
this.
Why don't you get a hobby?
Yeah, yeah. You're my
Outside the house
hobby.
hobby.
Yeah, you're my hobby, baby. She'd be like, get off of me. Get away from me. No, I'll joke. My wife and I, we love each other. We're in love with each other as much as I know, right? But I don't know. This is where the truth comes in. Because I know for COVID, like it didn't affect us like a lot of other relationships. Like I did not have a problem with COVID. Being at home with the family, being at home with the wife, it was not a thing for me. But apparently that ended a lot of relationships. And I'm like, because you spent more time together, like and maybe it's just a sign that you weren't meant to be. I don't know. I say that, but that was years ago now, right? My wife might be like, yeah, it's too.
Yeah.
She gonna send me on a grocery run every day. I'll be like, man, are we really running through food like that? She's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Go get. I'm like, man, I thought I just got that yesterday. Like, are we out of it? She throwing food out just to get me out of the house.
Yeah. She'd be like, no, not the grocery store that's close. I need the
Yeah,
one that's across town. Only they have it.
yeah. I'm gonna look it up online. Look, technology these days, I can look it up online, baby. I can just have it delivered to us. No, 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 no. I need you to go get it. But no. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I say that in jest, right? Because for us, like we'll be fine for a little while, but for other people, like, hopefully it does. Hopefully everybody is okay that's affected by this, right? They get the help they need, get the resources they need to be able to survive it and not have any real issues from it. But what else did I do? Oh, I sent you the message, right? About that ghost of Yotai. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Whatever?
Yote.
Yotai.
I think it's
Yotei.
yeah, I think it's Yote is how they
Yotai.
would pronounce it. Yeah,
I saw the trailer. I turned the PlayStation on and it caught my eye and I was like, oh, let me look at this. And I watched it and I was like, oh, I was like, that looks pretty good. And I remember you and Levon. Levon, what's up? You know what I mean? For y'all that haven't been with us a while, Levon was one of the former hosts we had on here that we still keep in touch, you know?
yeah. Shout out to Levon. He sent us a picture of all these gold medals. He apparently went to a jujitsu uh contest or meet.
Competition.
He beat everybody up. He beat the whole competition up. So he won all the awards. So shout out to him.
Yeah, Levon, man. Yeah, I know you and him had played Ghost of Tsushima. Tsushima? Was it called?
Tsushima.
Shima. And I went and looked at that trailer after seeing this one, and I was like, man, that looks good, right? And I was like, man, should I buy these games? I was like, nah, let me hold off. You know, it's a
Well,
government
Tsushima
shutdown.
should be in the. It should. Well, they might have taken it out, but I think it was like a plus game. I think you could go download it if you have a subscription.
So when I went to the trailer, maybe I don't have it anymore. I know I lowered my tier or whatever for PS whatever a while ago.
Yeah, and they'll pull them out. Like when Horizon 2 came out, they pulled Horizon 1 out. And I was just like, ah, y'all suckers.
Yeah, but I think they were still charging $70 for it. I'm like, yo, this game's a few years old. I think it's like 4 years old.
It's a
But
PS4 game. Yeah,
yeah,
so
so
it's
I
at
was
least
like,
5 years old.
yeah. So I'm like, man, $70 still. So I was like, nah, I'll hold off on that, right? But we're in a shutdown. I need to hold off, spend my money wisely. You know what I mean? So, but no, it looked really good. And I can't remember if it was you or Levon was like, yeah, it kind of plays like Horizon, and I'm like, yeah, I like Horizon. I know I put hundreds of hours in each one of those games. It seemed like it'd be a good one to get on to. I'm not there yet. I'll wait and see. Right? But yeah, that's kind of it for me, man. Didn't too much do too much else, right? Madden. I think I'm a glutton for punishment because maybe because I spent the money, I'm like, all right, I gotta see if it'll get better, even though I know it's not gonna get better. So like, I keep putting the time into Madden, and I'm like, oh, but it's the only football game out, right? It's the only pro football game out. Right? Like a
Right,
lot of
yeah.
people play college football. They love that one more. But I'm like, I'm not into the college game like that. Which another thing, my Penn State boys lost again to a team that had no wins. They gave them their first
It
win of the
was
season.
UCLA, right?
CLA. So
Yeah, I only knew because I was flipping through channels and I saw it and I saw a score and I was like, oh, Shannon would be upset.
and you know what? And you know what? Here's the thing, Ryan. I'm not like if Franklin can't beat the good teams and then he can't beat the winless teams, we got to get him out of there now, right? Like we got to let
You
him
building
go.
your case. You building your case.
We have to. We have to. And I was telling some friends from work because they were like, man, what is going on? I'm like, look, if this gets it to the point where they're like, hey, we can get him out of here, I'm cool with it. But what's going to happen is because we were in the Final Four last year for the college playoffs, I think it bought him some grace. So he might get
Mm.
another year. But I'm like, man, like the team we have now, it should not be like this. We had 2,000-yard rushers from last year that we should be running them all the time. Our leading rusher yesterday in that game was the quarterback, was Drew Allen. And I'm like, how is this a thing? Like, he's not a running quarterback by any means. It's just him scrambling and whatnot. I'm like, call more run plays, man. Like, let's make it happen. And the thing is, what makes it even worse, UCLA had an interim staff everywhere, right? Like it was new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new head coach. I'm like, what's going on? They were 0-4 before we played them. So I'm like, all right, okay, cool. The competition doesn't get easier from here, right? So if you keep dropping games like this, all right, I think they'll let Franklin finish out the season, but then he'll be gone. But we'll see. I don't know. He's getting a lot of grace for him not beating the better competition in the conference, and he's still been around for this amount of time. But I'm like, okay, if you can't beat the goods and you can't beat the bads, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So, but that's pretty much it for me, man. What about you? How was your week?
Pretty quiet. So like this is my first year not working in capacity for like so when I first came out of the military, I worked for a private data company. So for almost a year time, I didn't have to worry about this type of nonsense. Then I worked for HUD. Luckily, none of this happened during that time. I think there was a continuous resolution thing happened, but we were funded, so we made it through, and then they fixed the the issue. Then this year again, I work I'm in the financial sector, so like can't be shut down. At least not for any good reasons. It'd be detrimental to the economy, right? So I'm good. So I say all to say like it's weird seeing it from the outside now, right? Because I'm so used to when we're in the military, right? It happened during I don't know if it happened during Bush. I think it happened during Bush. It definitely happened during Obama. And I don't,
Obama was when we were in Virginia.
yeah.
I
So
remember.
seeing people furloughed and things of that nature, it sucks. Like it's so much of an impact on people, and now they're talking about potentially laying people off during the furlough and things of that nature. So, I feel for everybody who's out there dealing with it, because yeah, just I wish Congress would pass a budget. Like that would be nice, right? Because especially because seeing that military people won't get paid. That's crazy. Still got to show up to work, which I'm sure they'll stagger people, things of that nature, like to try to keep morale high. But still,
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, you got people that are still getting deployed to locations that may not necessarily, like, first off, they're not at home, right? So they're not with their family, and then they're not getting any money to provide for their family. And they're being deployed to locations to where they may be doing things that could put them in harm's way, right? Now, I'm not necessarily saying they're in Afghanistan or anything like that, but it sucks, man, to be away from your family, not get paid for it. You could be in danger. Like, what happens in that instance, right? Like, what's the morale like for people that are in that situation?
Right. Right. So yeah, it's crappy all around. So hopefully they figure it out sooner rather than later. And then when you hear all these complaints on your radio, it's already been passed and everybody's already happy. So that's the hope. Aside from that, man, like it's cooling down here finally. So I cut the grass. Hopefully one of the last times. I forget when grass stops growing here. It's late in the season.
Now, when you say cooling down, what temperature are we talking here for Florida?
High 70s, low 80s.
Yeah.
So the pool has been warm all year pretty much, right? I finally had to cut the heater on for the pool because it was like it dipped down to like low 80s. It was cold, so I had to bump it up to 90. All right, I had to get it rolling. So last night I was in the hot tub because I cranked it up a little bit more. So it's almost hot tub weather, right? Where it's cool outside, but it's hot in the hot tub, as opposed to like I had that thing on during the earlier in the summer. I thought I was gonna die. Like is I'm boiling myself basically. There's no respite between in in the hot tub and out of the hot tub. It's hot both places. So um yeah, definitely gonna enjoy that this quote unquote winter. Because it starts getting cold around Halloween, I would say. Cold in quotation marks. True winter doesn't hit us until February. There'll be like a couple weeks of February where it's like it dips to like the 50s. And you're just like, yo, this is crazy.
Knew you were gonna still say a temperature that was higher than what it is in Colorado. When you want real winter, come out to Colorado, baby. Like
No,
that's
I don't. I
that's
don't
where
want
it's
real winter.
at.
That's why I'm
Okay,
down
all
here
right.
for it. Like we're talking about going back home to show because the kids haven't been to Buffalo since. I think my oldest was the last time. Like did no RJ went to Buffalo and he was like real little, so he's 17 now. So I would say probably 12 years or more, 12 to 14 years. Last time we've been home, so we want to go home take the kids because they keep asking to see it. And we're like, well, there's no point going during the summer because they know what summer looks like. So if we're gonna go, we gotta go during the winter. I was like, ugh, because they don't know what snow is about.
Yeah, but you don't want to give them that buffalo snow. Like y'all be getting the
But yeah,
blizzards. Y'all be getting the
yeah,
blizzards. It's like woo. Y'all
you
got
getting the real Buffalo experience.
y'all got fans digging out the stadiums. It's crazy,
Yeah,
man. Like when y'all get those big snows during football season, like high. But here's the thing. This is where y'all people come together, right? So like even when y'all beat us the first game of the season, like what ended up happening? Well, the owner came out and was like, if Lamar gets fined because of the fan that he pushed, he was like, we'll pay it. He was like, that's not Buffalo, that's not whatever. And I told you, I said, man, even though I want to hate y'all always do some classy stuff, right? Like this.
right,
Y'all
right.
always do some classy stuff like this. To where I'm like, I can't hate, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it
And it's
definitely was.
not.
Yeah, it definitely was not his fault. Like the fan was acting crazy.
And they banned them, right? They did what they needed to. But yeah, man, no. I Buffalo beef. I see that. And like here's the thing. I'm from Maryland, right? So like I've seen snow. I've seen a lot of snow. I ain't seen snow like that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy. We used to. Well, I never did this, but Because even when I was a kid, I was very risk averse. I'm like, I'm not doing that. But kids jumping off the second floor, because you had a lot of two-family homes, right? That's like a Buffalo staple. So like when the snow would build up enough, people would jump off the second floor into the snowbanks and what have you. Looked like a lot of fun. I was like, even young Ryan was like, you're gonna fall and break your back. No, thank you. I got a life to live.
Cause even then, like y'all are getting that wet snow, you know what I mean, coming off lakes and whatnot. Like so, like y'all are getting that snow that's wet. So it like even though it looks nice and fluffy, you might hit that thing and it feel like concrete.
Yeah, yeah, thrown a wet snowball and almost take somebody's head off. Like it's, it's heavy snow. But yeah, we're thinking about going home. It would be nice to go home and go to a game as well, right? Like I want to kill as many birds with one stone as possible, so I ain't got to go back for another decade. So because it's cold, man. I was like, hey, y'all should all move down here, or at least somewhere warmer, so I can come visit y'all. But I do miss the food, so that'll be fun to run around and do that. What else? I watched this show and I couldn't put it down last night. It's called 5 Days at Memorial. It's on Apple TV. So it's showing what happened to a hospital. Apparently, it's based on a true story. A hospital lost 45 people. So this is all in the trailer, but basically they're doing an investigation and they're flashing back to those 5 days. So each episode so far has been a day. However, there's more episodes than days left, right? So I think what'll happen is that like the last day will probably be multiple episodes or something like that. But it's a mini series. It's only like 8 episodes. I'm on like episode 4, so I'm right in the in between, and it shows like okay, Katrina hit, and this hospital memorial is in Louisiana. So they're like, okay, we like it's crazy. Like they show like the hospital getting torn up because of the storm, but everybody makes it right. Minimum injuries, everybody's safe. It's the days after. And they're just like they're trying to explain because they're like, how did you lose 45 people? Like was this intentional? Like what happened? And they show how yeah we braved the storm. Our incident response, like they have the incident response captain is one of the ladies. She's a nurse. She's been there forever, and just the gaps in their plan. So as they're talking through it, they're like, facilities is in the room, doctors are in the room. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do. It's like, hey, what do we do if the water keeps rising? It's like, okay, well, like our equipment is all downstairs in the basement, and if we get 4 feet or more, we're done. And they're like, okay, so what's the evacuation plan? So she's flipping through the manual, and there's no evacuation plan for flood. Like it's like for like biological, for like active shooter. Like she has like this big binder, like you would have, like we run when we do these type of exercises in the military, and they just were not prepared for when the levees broke. So it's
Yeah,
going through that now.
the conditions they had were not anticipated, right? Nobody
Right.
anticipated the levee breaking, and like like New Orleans is a bowl, right? So
Yeah.
that's why you
Exactly.
have the levees, and just nobody anticipated that. They weren't expecting. Yeah, that's wild, man. Would you say it's the name of 5 Days at Memorial?
Yeah, 5 days at Memorial. And
Okay.
so, because I clicked on it because I thought it was gonna like because I didn't read ahead or anything, so I thought it was gonna be like The Pit, one of those other doctor shows, right? But no, this one is literally just talking about all of the. It's like an after action report. It's like all the things that could have gone wrong went wrong, and here's how it went down. It opens in the aftermath, right? Like you have like FEMA coming in with the hazmat suits, and it's like, uh, uh, bodies in the chapel, and then they flip to like that are interrogating different people who were key to running the hospital. Like, how did you let this happen? What happened here? What was he doing there? So it's actually pretty good. Like I really couldn't put it down last night. I was like, I gotta go to sleep, but I watched 4 episodes in a row. I was like, this is really good. So it's very interesting because yeah, because we deal with that in the military all the time, like building all these plans out, and just trying to make them like exercises to failure because you want it to break, then you can fix whatever's broken. So it's interesting to see it from their perspective. Like we did not plan for this to happen, and it also goes into the National Guard and their response, corporate response. Because they reach out to the corporation, they're just like, we don't know what to do. National Guard will help you out, and like National Guard is like, hey, no one is telling us what to do because like it's so unprecedented what's happening. So it's pretty crazy.
So do they say whether or not they like? 'Cause like for us, we tabletop a lot of stuff, right? Because we're not bringing, a lot of stuff down, right? Every once in a while you might set up an ASI or something, but do they say whether or not they tabletopped all this stuff, or did they say, yeah, it's just this is the binder. We
Yeah,
hope
it
it's good.
wasn't because at one point they're talking about how the equipment will fail at 4 feet and there's already a foot of water in the basement, and they're trying to get mad at the facility guy. And he was like, "Hey, I wrote a memo last year when we took water, and he was like, I basically said like, here are the parameters, and no one listened. And then you're like, well, then they're telling him like, oh, well, don't get defensive. He was like, I'm not getting defensive. It's an explanation. Like, you guys were not listening to me, and now this has happened. So it's really going into like all of the minutia. It's like, how did you not plan for this? Well, here are the extenuating circumstances. Here are the explanations for why we didn't do X or Y or Z. And now it looks as though they're going to be taking on, because they take every year they would take in people, right? Because it never had a storm like this before. But now they're taking these people in, and some of them are going out and looting because they run out of food. So stuff like that's happening, and they're trying to mitigate that. Like, hey, you can't do that, And now I think attention to, like, I'm at the point where attention's been drawn to them as having resources, and it looks like the mob is coming their way. So it's pretty crazy.
So because you said it's an Apple TV series, right? So who are the A-list actors that are in this? Because everything they have is an A-list actor.
I haven't seen any yet. Like, none that I can.
What?
Yeah, none that I would like oh no, there is one. There's one. What is her name? It's a female doctor. She's in all the promo stuff. I've seen her before. I can't remember where. Like, and I could be confusing her for a comedian. But in this, she has a heavy Southern draw. I'm trying to talk while searching. There it is. Nope, she's nobody I know. Vera. Yeah, you know her.
You've definitely seen her. You've definitely seen her
She looks
before.
real familiar.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff. Vera Farmiga. Yeah.
Okay, she's the only one that.
The eyes stand out for her, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, she's the only one so far where I'm just like, oh, okay, I know her. But everybody else seems to be fairly, like, they're probably all famous around the world, but I just don't know. But yeah, so far so good. Like, I'm really enjoying it. And then game-wise, still Final Fantasy VII. It's the game that keeps on giving. All right, I'm on the final chapter, and I'm still getting new stuff to do. I was just like, I'm at 186 hours is where I'm at with this game.
get ready to ask what the hour count is. Like, whoa.
I'm almost at 200 hours because I want to do everything. Yeah, and it's a lot. It just keeps giving me stuff. I'm really enjoying it, so I can't complain. And then playing Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, I'm sorry, Silent Hill F. Like, so I'm still playing that one. It's ultra creepy, very creepy. 1960s Japan in a small rural village with just some of the sickest looking monsters they could think of. It's like that's just creepy to be creepy. Like, I don't even know how you could even think of something that's this weird looking.
You know that I think that sometimes when I watch like movies or things of that nature, I'm like, what was the person thinking to come up with this, right? And like, I wonder if I was keeping track, like, would it come out later that somebody was like a serial killer or something that was like a great
Right.
movie creator or something like that? Like, if it came out Stephen King was a serial killer for the last 40 years, I'd be like, I believe it. Like, look at the stuff, some of the stuff he's written,
But what
and
do you
some of the
make
stuff
it?
he's
Yeah.
come up with. Yeah, it's like, yeah, for sure, right? Like, we should not be surprised by this. Like, people will say they're surprised, but I'm like, no, you knew it,
Right.
and you enjoyed it. So are you a serial killer? I'm not saying you, Ryan, but
That's what they
you
say.
did enjoy
Yeah,
it.
that's what they say. I drink my coffee black, no sugar. They're like, if you enjoy black coffee, you could be a psychopath. I'm like, the bar seems low for psychopath, right? If it's just black coffee. But yeah, so what I want to see is I want to finally see Magazine Dreams, which is still not cheap, and Weapons, which is still, I think the rent is like $20. I'm like, I'm not paying that. I gotta wait. But there's another one called Bring Her Back. So it's written by the same people who did Talk to Me. So it's like a horror psychological thriller called Bring Her Back. It just dropped on, I think, HBO. So I might check that out tonight. I do like the spookies.
Recognize either one of those. What's Talk to Me about? I don't
Oh, Talk to Me
recognize
is super weird. They find a severed hand that's been like mummified, and it makes you be possessed by spirits. We only watched that once. My family was like, "Don't bring that back in this house." I like the exorcism type movies and things of that nature.
Yeah, I started watching it with the lights off, and all of a sudden somebody finds a reason to go to the kitchen and start turning lights
Right.
on.
But yeah, this one's called Bring Her Back. I tried to get people to watch it last night. They're like, "Nah, we're good." Well, y'all stop being scary. All right, watch the scary stuff with me.
You understand like Cube. Stop being so scary.
But yeah, man, just hanging out with the family and waiting for the weather to continue to cool down. And I renewed my PMP finally, so I got all the PDUs. That was a nightmare. I will never let it lapse again. That was hard. So I'm back. I'm now PMP certified again, without having taken a hard test again. I was cursed. But yeah, pretty much does it for me, man. And then obviously I knocked down the price of the book. So segue back to that. The guide, The Other Side of the Firewall, is now 40% off for the month of October. Please go pick it up. If you don't want it for you, buy it for a friend or just buy it. All right. $15. That's like McDonald's money now, right? Because everything's going up. I used to be able to buy you 15 Happy Meals. Now to buy you 2 Happy Meals. All right. But spend that money and get this guide. I'm sure you will enjoy it. I'm obviously biased, but everybody I've talked to who has read it says that it is both inspiring and empowering. So you should go pick up your copy. So go to the other side of the firewall.com and pick up the guide. Hit up ramcyber.io if you're looking for those cyber services, because I'm looking to provide them to you. So if you need any of those assessments, audits, or vCISO type services to include network architecture and infrastructure, please hit me up at ramcyber.io. And then you can look me up personally. Obviously, I'm on LinkedIn under RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. I'm very active on LinkedIn. But you can also go to my personally branded page. It is RyanWilliamsSenior.com. That's RyanWilliamsSenior.com. Please go there and you can check out all of the things that I provide under my banners. So thank you very much for listening to us. Definitely like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. I always forget to tell people. Stay safe, stay secure.